Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
CatholicUnderground.com, the podcast about our Catholic faith and new media.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Priest set on fire. A Lithuanian priest was set on fire while celebrating Mass after a man interrupted a weekday liturgy by spraying a priest with flammable liquid and setting the cleric ablaze with a cigarette lighter. Local police say the man who attacked the priest had also repeatedly disrupted other Masses by shouting inappropriate statements. The priest's attacker will undergo a series of psychological tests, and should he be determined fit for trial, he faces 10 years in jail. Bishop defends marriage. Maltese Bishop Mario Grech isn't mincing words when defending marriage by condemning divorce supporters publicly and saying they may not receive the Eucharist. The bishop points out if you are not in communion with Christ's teachings, you are not in communion with the Church and may not receive communion. He also warns, quote, to be politically correct and not tell things as they are will lead us to be sorry. There are the brigands among us who are utilizing every means possible to lead the flock astray. They are going after marriage, and then other things will follow, end quote. Malta and the Philippines are the only two countries left in the world where divorce is still illegal, and Malta faces a nationwide referendum on May 28th to vote on the issue. Catholic education under fire. The Canadian government is trying to force children as young as the first grade to question their faith and to affirm homosexuality. The Supreme Court heard arguments last week of a Roman Catholic couple who refused the right to remove their two children from the Ethics and Religious Culture program, even though the government claims to respect diversity and religious beliefs. The court requires children to undergo, quote, sensitivity training and includes positive representation of same-sex marriage. The Catholic Register reports the court could take several months to determine an outcome in the case. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Is it cheaper to kill babies? Lawmakers in North Carolina are debating whether it's cheaper to abort the state's children or let them enjoy benefits like Medicaid and other services. The question arose when a member of the legislative staff attached a note to a bill called the Woman's Right to Know Bill, which has been proven to reduce abortions. The addendum pointed out that 2,900 births resulting annually from prevented abortions would cost the state $7 million more a year. Representative Burt Jones of Rockingham said he could not believe legislators were seriously debating whether more expenses or more abortions were better. And lastly, Cardinal caves to controversial cleric. Father Michael Pfleger, a controversial and sometimes disobedient priest in the Archdiocese of Chicago, has been reinstated to his parish after issuing an apology about his previous threat to leave the church. Pfleger has been engaged in a public battle with Cardinal George, using the media to force the Cardinal's hand. The Cardinal said his attitude made him unfit to be a pastor of a Catholic parish and suspended his faculties. Father Pfleger has agreed to create a transition plan, which he will present to the Priest Placement Board by December 1st. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Michael will discuss crushing the serpent's head. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless.